Manage projects like a boss inside your time and billing software. There are a lot of applications out there, and I mentioned this in the write-up, of course, and if you haven't, you really should read the write-up. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube. Don't forget to do that. And subscribe to our blog at blog.bqe.com. We constantly put out new content just for you. When I'm managing projects or when I'm doing any number of things that any number of applications out there are designed to do, what I've come across, what I've found quite a bit, is that there are applications that try to do too many things. There are applications that try to be too many different things. I'm looking at an example just now, actually, as of the time I'm recording this, of a file management application that's trying to build project management features into itself, and it doesn't work very well. It doesn't translate well. A file management application should stick on doing what it does and do it really well, which is manage files. When it comes to time and billing and expenses, which is what BillQuick and BillQuick Online do, managing projects is part and parcel to that. It's not an example of a product trying to be too many things. It's exactly what the product should be handling all in one place. Because if you think about it, and this is how I broke it down for you in the write-up, when I'm in a service-based business, I have clients. For any one of those clients, I might do one or more projects for that client. And within each project that I have to now manage, I'll have all the things that I have to manage around a project, which boils down to the time has to do with the activities, the things that need to get completed, the very tasks themselves, right, that have to get completed in order to complete the project. And then, of course, there are the expenses that I'll incur along the way, where I'm either going to have that be included in my fee structure so that they're not being billed back, or they need to be billed back to the clients. Bottom line point being, all of this goes very naturally into one place. When you're dealing with time and billing software, it should be able to manage your project for you, and you should be able to do it all in one place. In fact, I'd argue that if your software doesn't do all of that at the same time, there's probably a disconnect, because now you're having to manage different components of a project in different places. One project might be handling the accounting side of it, which is a big part of what BillQuick does really well. And then the other might be managing the tasks and to-dos and the allocation and who's doing what when and when is it getting done and did it get done and all that kind of stuff. So I want to walk you through some of the areas of BillQuick Online specifically that really address the project management part and do it very well. So the first thing is, if we go into our lists and we go to our client list, what you'll find is that each client can be expanded to see the projects that you're managing for them. Again, there's your structure. I have the client, and then I have the project, right? Same thing, BQE, client, projects, and so on. So the client list is kind of your first example, the proof of what I'm talking about, because you have your clients, and then within each client, you have all the projects that you're working on for that client. So that's kind of the first high-level area where you're going to go to sort of manage projects in BillQuick Online. You're going to see whose projects am I managing, and what are those projects, right? Clients and projects. Sorry to beat that one to death. We do have tasks and to-dos, and if I go into my lists, I can go into, let's try that again, to my to-do list, and I can easily create a to-do, and I can create a to-do based on a project, right? I can view it by project, so I can assign it, right? Here's the description. Here's where I assign it to a person, right? Task of, and I'm trying to get, there we go. And here's where I would assign which project it goes to. So tasks and to-dos are here, and it's a great way, obviously, to define all the things that need to get done and then assign who's going to do them and when they're due. I can also add reminders, right? Reminders are a thing that I find are often a critical thing that are missing from a lot of project management applications that I see. They all assume that you just need to be reminded of when the due date is, and oftentimes you're only going to be reminded on that day, which oftentimes is all too late in order to get the thing done on time. You know, I need to know that if a task is due in a week from now, I might need to be reminded today, a week before, so that I have ample time to get the thing done, hopefully long before its due date. So that's my rant on tasks and to-dos. The other thing, and this is the part that in the write-up I mentioned that, you know, this part may have you turning your head to the side a little bit for a second, is in the budgets. And you might be wondering, what do budgets have to do with managing the actual project? And my answer is going to be essentially everything, right? Because in my budget, I'm going to define what the activity codes are, and I'm going to define what it's going to cost me, depending on who's going to be assigned to each of those tasks. I have my cost rate, what I'm paying them to do it, and I have the billing rate, of course, what I'm billing the client for. So as I'm defining that, doesn't it follow that those activity codes, those are the activities, or for that matter, the tasks that actually need to get completed. So let's take a look at a budget. If I go into the management area, I can go into a budget. And right now, I was looking at this before, so it came into one of the existing budgets that we have. And you'll see I've got the budget laid out by activity, right? So I know I'm going to need to do a client conference probably right up front, right in the beginning, and maybe in total for a project, given whatever kind of project this is a final budget, whatever that means. That I'm expecting there's going to be 10 hours of conference calls. And you can approach this from any number of ways. Maybe you're deciding that there's going to be, maybe the project takes 10 months to complete, and you need an hour call each month just to review everything and make sure that everybody's on the same page, right? So that's a client conference call. Maybe these are the internal conference calls. They need to happen perhaps more often or for a longer period of time. So you'll create these budgets, and once you've created a budget, then it's really easy to do the allocation because you're going to use these codes to assign each of these activities to whom is going to get that thing done. So let's go into the management area and let's look at the allocate screen. And if I were creating a new allocation, let's just say for a minute, notice here I can copy it from a budget or I can copy it from a project. But copying it from a budget kind of illustrates exactly what I was talking about, where you would choose a budget and you would create the budget based on a generic type of project that you might do for lots of clients. That way you just have it there in place, and once you've created the project and assigned the budget to it, you can copy it from that budget and get the view that you need. So let's just pick on any project here. There's PV Country Club. Over and down here, here's the allocated hours and units. So I can see each of these and who the employee ID is, where it's assigned. Perhaps even more exciting is the calendar view, which will now show me in just that, a calendar view, exactly who's doing what and when. And the areas that light up in orange are areas where if I'm looking at this based on a week, there are people who are over 40 hours, which means I'm possibly going to get hit with overtime, right? So these are areas that need my attention. And over here on the left, you can expand those to see more specifically what's going on. I have Walter here spending 27 and a half hours on other tasks, right? So if I wanted to, I could edit this, going back to the task allocation, and I could see, let's just pick on the first one, Alan Marcello. I can choose edit. Once I choose edit, I'll need to look here in the details, and here's the details of that. So over here, I can increase the number of hours that I want to assign Alan Marcello on this particular task. Maybe I really need 45 hours. So I can change this, and I can save it. And then you'll see here, now it shows he's got 45 hours on this project. Let's go back to the calendar view. And let's find Alan. This is sorted by project, so what we want here is employee and then hours. Right, and now I see Alan Marcello, and there's his hours. Right now, if I break this down, over here is where I changed the hours to 35 for the design calculations. And here's other tasks, it's just aggregated, right? So again, you have within BillQuick Online all the infrastructure in place to manage your project from every possible angle. Look how easy it was to go from looking at it by project and then hours to looking at it by employee and then hours. So again, I can see, and I mentioned this in the write-up, who may be overburdened, whose load might need to be lightened, and maybe I can see where there's people here who are well under 40 hours in a week. So if I have two people who can perform the same function and one person's overburdened, the other not, I can easily go into the allocation here and reassign the task to, or the activity code to the person who has more room in their schedule and help out or lighten up the load for the person who may otherwise be overburdened. This, my friends, is why if you're going to use time and billing software like BillQuick Online, you should understand that you have something really powerful here that will manage all of this for you, the whole entire project. There's really no need to go into any other application to manage anything having to do with your projects. Everything from your tasks and to-dos to your budgets to your actual time and expense billing, which is what I think most people are familiar with us being useful for. All of it can be done right here. It's very possible after watching this video that you might be realizing that you can actually consolidate applications, save yourself some money, and manage things much more easily from one place. That, my friends, is what I have for you on how to manage projects like a boss inside your own time and billing software. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or feedback, post them wherever you happen to be watching this. If you're on YouTube, check the description for a link to take you over to the blog post where the complete write-up is, so you can see what I've offered you there and watch the video there just the same, and post your comments below once you're on the blog. And once again, don't forget to subscribe. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.